And here we have another G.I. Joe Cobra Island Target exclusive. Yeah, I'm excited for the figure and the bike, but man, dealing with Target is a pain in the ass. So I pre-ordered my breaker with Ram Cycle back in, I think June 17th, I think is when we pre-ordered those. And I'd hoped, yeah, I still hold out hope sometimes, but I'd hoped that maybe their shipping had gotten a little bit better, their packing had gotten a little bit better, but with other things I received from Target, I was shown just how wrong I was. But anyway, a buddy of mine, everybody knows I like to display my stuff mint in box. A buddy of mine hooked me up with a fantastic looking breaker that was purchased in store, I believe. He ended up with an extra one and was able to hook me up. But the front panel here is free of stickers, scratches, dents, dings. The box is in fantastic shape. So this is the one that will go in my collection. Now, the one that Target sent me was in a box way too big for it and had a couple pieces of packing material, just the big bubble bags, just kind of thrown in there like they're going to do anything to prevent this thing from banging around inside the box or getting damaged. And looking it over, we have a crush here. As you can see, there's a big crush mark right here with a crease. The box has creases in it. I mean, this one's a pretty hard ding, I think, and was dinged here hard enough that it actually cracked the printing on the outside of the box, which means that this is like almost ripped all the way through. And you have dog ears over here, and just it's not in good shape. Plus, they slap a big sticker right on the face of the box. And, you know, I mean, a lot of people will say, well, these are meant to be open. These are meant for children, blah, blah, blah. Look, the classified line, there's no kids buying these. If there are children buying these, it's because they're being directed to, or the interest they have is just involvement with a parent. It's involvement with some dude in his late 30s, early 40s that wants to have some kind of connection with his kid, or the kid wants to have some kind of connection with the parent. It's us. We're buying these. We're supporting the line. It's not kids. This is marketed as a collectible, an exclusive collectible item. And this is how Target treats their exclusive collectibles. Yes, I know it seems like I'm just complaining, but they keep doing this. You know, they keep getting these exclusives and they keep treating them like trash. And, you know, to us, they're not. To the people working at Target, yeah, they probably are. They don't give two shits about us. But anyway, we're going to open this guy up, check him out, and, you know, give a good close look at the figure and the bike itself. Best way for me to open this is going to be right here on this end, where I can pull the tray and everything out and hopefully not cause any more damage than what's already been caused, because anyway, I'm going to pass this on to another collector that likes stuff opened or loose, because honestly, the box, in my opinion, is not something I'd want to display in my collection, and I don't think that a lot of other mint in box collectors would want to display it in theirs. So slide this tray out. You have the large Cobra Island. If you can see it for the big sticker they slapped on the front. I'll go ahead and pull this insert out. So here you have the Cobra Island logo right here on a nice big backdrop. This is actually really cool looking. I love the artwork that's inside these. I think it's great. But if you go on to the G.I. Joe website, they break all of these insignias down. And that's it for the insert. If we look at the back here, as with all the other Cobra Island boxes, you have different sections of Cobra Island highlighted here, and no text at all. The character's profile, I believe, is available on the G.I. Joe website, but they don't put anything about the character other than the name on the box, and you have no context whatsoever as to like what Cobra Island is, what G.I. Joe's doing on Cobra Island, what Cobra's doing on Cobra Island. I don't get the complete and total lack of involvement with all of that. It seems to me that the people over marketing or the people over the design would actually try to put at least as much effort into that as they do acquiring the artwork from different artists. The artwork on all of these boxes, almost all of the boxes, the Prophet Director Destro, I didn't like the artwork on that one, but that's beside the point. The artwork on these boxes is fantastic. I love the fact that they have the gloss and matte finishes combined. As you can see, this is also something that Mattel is doing with the Masters of the Universe Origins line. If you look at their boxes and their cards and whatnot, you'll see that they have the gloss over the matte, and I think that really makes the artwork and everything pop on the box, especially with that Cobra Island logo, that red. Looks really good. Just not as good on a beat up box. So I'm going to pop everything out of the tray here. I'll give you a quick look. We actually have one of these little bandy things here holding the ram cycle in, and I'll get everything popped out so you don't have to listen to the plastic crinkle, but you see you have the figure, the helmet, the detachable minigun that actually goes on the side of the ram cycle. Man, wouldn't it be cool if somebody would 3D print a sidecar for this thing? I know somebody's got to be working on something. Anyway, I'll pop it out, show you really quick, and we'll get close-ups and whatnot. First, let's take a look at the ram cycle itself, and I want to point out some things here. The tires are actually rubber on this, and the forks actually turn on the motorcycle, unlike the coil bike, which had plastic tires and the front wheel did not turn. This is a bit smaller than the coil bike, but I mean, it's a ram cycle. They were small dirt bikes, if nothing else. And you don't have to try and figure out a way to heat this up to pop one of the handlebars or one of the grips in there, but yet they're still attached with a ball and socket that moves around, and that's like that on both sides, but that's already assembled for you, and I don't think these are going to pop out or anything like that, but they do fold down to allow more room in the packaging, and then they move up like this to for the figure to grip onto. And we can take these and I'll just show you like that. There is movement in these, and yeah, they even rotate a little bit. So I mean, this is pretty cool. This is very well put together. I dig the extra little paint schemes and the different colors of plastic here. I think that they did a really good job on the ram cycle and making it look good and paying homage to the or homage to the original ram cycle. I really dig these rubber tires here. Now, taking a look at the minigun, you see this is a little bit misshapen here. It's a little bit deformed, and I think that's probably from the vacuum formed tray that this came in, but this is the same minigun that came with the heavy artillery roadblock figure, which was also, the figure was more of a throwback to the V1 roadblock, I believe, from the 80s. But yeah, this is a cool little piece here. It can come out of its little holder here that goes on the side of the ram cycle and can be carried and affixed to the figure in the figure's hands. I'm not actually going to do that right now, but just wanted to show you guys real quick. You see the deformation that I'm talking about here? A little bit of a wave comes out and then down, and that's, you know, you can probably heat that up and straighten it out, but Yeah, that's one of the things about these vacuum formed trays. They make great displays, but sometimes the soft plastic, they just kind of, it deforms it a little bit. And it does that with figures as well, with their legs and their arms at times. You'll get figures that look a little wonky in there, and their legs will be bowed in. Now, this piece here acts somewhat as a sidecar and stabilizer for the ram cycle. It's the shell that goes around the minigun, or that the minigun goes inside of. And I'll show you how this goes. The minigun would typically be held by the figure like this, but there is a peg here that goes into the grip of the minigun, and it's pretty form-fitting, as you can see here. It comes up around the top and whatnot, but the slot on the bottom doesn't really have a function for this one. It did for the Roadblock figure, because he had it was like an ammo can that would shove into it. I mean, it's a more realistic type of weapon for G.I. Joe. And this just, there's little posts in here, little holes here where the posts line up, and also this little wheel here does spin freely. So we'll just put this together like so, and then you have the little sidecar minigun mount, and the barrels do still spin freely to go on the side of the ram cycle. And you'll see that you have two holes here that these two posts line up into and just pop straight in. And there you have it. You have the assembled ram cycle with its minigun here on the side. And I did notice before I put this on that the ram cycle will not stand on its own. I mean, I'm sure you could probably balance it in some way, but it doesn't just freely stand on its own without this. And the coil bike would stand on its own, but not the ram cycle. I like the ram cycle a lot more than I like the coil bike. The coil bike looked kind of goofy and weird, but the ram cycle look, some people may think it looks goofy and weird still, but I do like the fact that it's more of a throwback to the original 3 3/4 scale ram cycle that we had back in the 80s when we were kids. It's very nostalgic in that aspect. I don't remember anything like a coil bike except for maybe, now I can't think of his name. Destro's cousin, Darklon's Evader. Darklon's Evader, I think is what it was called. That's what the coil bike reminded me of. But this looks really cool. I actually like this a lot. The ram cycle is pretty badass. You also have all of the paint tapographs on here as well. These are not decals. These are paint tampos that are on here. Oh, yeah, little toolkit right here. Doesn't come off. It's just a little wrench signifying that there's a toolkit or whatever there. And then you have the American flag, which actually this paint tampo for the American flag does not appear to be complete, or it's tattered or something. But anyway, moving on, we'll take a look at the figure itself. And here we have him, Alvin Breaker Kibbey. Now, the body is the same as Beachhead and the Commando Snake Eyes, and the arms are actually from Duke. Yeah, the arms are from Duke, and I think the neck may also be from Duke. And then you have a new original head and face sculpt here. And it's a really good looking figure. I mean, they've made good use of the Beachhead mold for sure. You've got the ratcheting joints here and the knees pretty tight. I don't want to move these too hard because I don't want to take a chance of breaking something. It is recommended by a lot of people that you heat these up to move your joints and whatnot and get them loosened up. Now, the hips on this guy are a little bit loose, and they don't want to, they're manipulate real well, but they're just a little bit loose, and they do drop down so that you can further pose the figure in more poses and whatnot. The waist is extremely tight. That I don't think that's gonna move without breaking something. I definitely want to dunk him in some hot water for a little bit to loosen up these elbows and the rest of the joints and whatnot. But yeah, you have the Duke arms on the beachhead body. A pretty good standard green shirt. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you could swap out the heads on these figures. You could buy a bunch of these and turn Breaker into an army builder. Now, I've seen some complaints that Breaker didn't come with any weapons and accessories and whatnot other than his helmet and the bike. I don't think the original Breaker came with anything either. But, and I get it. This isn't the 1980s. This is 2021, and everybody wants as much stuff with their figures as they can possibly get. Another thing that I notice here, this ankle joint seems to be just a little bit loose. I don't really think it's going to affect anything with the figure quality wise, but definitely whoever ends up with this guy, definitely dunk him in some hot water before you start manipulating him a whole lot. I wouldn't want to see somebody end up with a broken figure because of the tight joints and whatnot. And you also have the butterfly joints here in the chest and shoulder. All right, it's a really great looking figure though. But I know that people are 3D printing heads, people are casting heads or swapping heads out with Marvel Legends figures. So, I mean, you could totally pop the head off and swap it out, or maybe even customize the head that the Breaker head, you know, and make him a different character. I can almost, no, I think they'll use a different head for that. Supposedly we're getting Tiger Force Outback as the next set of Target exclusive figures. Yes, everyone wants more Target exclusives. The Tiger Force figures will be Target exclusives, as well as Python Patrol. At least that's the rumor. I won't believe it until I see something from Hasbro. I'm hoping that Hasbro makes an announcement during PulseCon and lets us know that we are getting more figures, because I've seen a lot of speculation that the line is dead, the line is dying, they're canceling it, they're doing this, they're doing that, and it's like, no, people don't really know. I mean, we pretty much knew that we were only getting a set amount of figures in 2021, and we've pretty much gotten those. So, moving on, Breaker does come with a pretty badass helmet. Now, they've condensed down, I'm going to put this on my thumb here. Yeah, I'll put it on my thumb. They've condensed down the gear that the original Breaker came with into just the helmet. He doesn't have the big giant thing attached to the helmet anymore. They've reduced the size of that and given this a much more modern look, which I really do like a lot. There we go. Get it to focus just a little bit. Some people had mentioned something about the communications device that was on the first release of figures not being on Breaker, but I mean, I think that that's pretty much what his helmet is. You know, it's got the comm device here on it, and I like the fact that you have the two-tone set, the two-tone construction here, the black paint app for all of the communications stuff, and then you have let me see if I can get it to focus real good. Maybe not. But anyway, I think you can see it there in the light. The visor, the safety glasses, whatever you want to call these, that lens across the front has that nice iridescent look to it. I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot of detail in this, and the microphone is nice and soft. That's not going to pop off there. Let's put this helmet on the figure and see how it looks. And that is cool. That is a badass looking figure. definitely all G.I. Joe. I really do like this a lot. It's simple, and the original run of G.I. Joe figures back in '82, they were incredibly simple and stylish. They were stylized, but I mean, they were very, very simple and plain. And I think that's what gave them a lot of their character. But, you know, I hope that they continue doing something with this beachhead body and the Duke arms and whatnot. Make some green shirt army builders. You know, Marvel Legends has army builders that are Hasbro Pulse exclusives, even though those sell out sometimes. Why? How are you going to sell out of pre-orders for an army builder? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But anyway, it's a $15 figure. The Hydra Soldier was a $15 figure, and it's just a basic action figure that comes with a web gear and a rifle. And they could do a ton of G.I. Joe green shirts like that using this beachhead body. And I think that would be really cool. One more thing that I will mention, the vest does not come off without removing the arms, I'm sure, and heating it up. And it does limit the ab crunch. The ab crunch does not function with this vest on, much like a lot of the other figures that have this vest or a vest. It limits the movement there in the ab crunch. Yeah, I'm now that I'm thinking more about it, Hasbro definitely needs to use this body to army build green shirts. I think that's a fantastic idea. They could even throw like some different heads or put, you know, give them a molded helmet or something, kind of like what they did with Barbecue. That would be cool. Alvin Kibbey Breaker is back in his plastic prison here. And like I said, I'm going to probably pass this on to another collector that likes loose stuff. And, you know, even though it seems like there's always a group of people who like to complain about everything that Hasbro does or everything that G.I. Joe, everything that comes out for G.I. Joe, there's people that want to complain about it. And then, like, if you actually like something that Hasbro is coming out with for G.I. Joe, you're told that you're simping for Hasbro or something. And I don't get the negativity. It's like nobody hates G.I. Joe as much as G.I. Joe's fans. But I'm a G.I. Joe fan through and through. I have been since I was little kid. I was born in '82, and I got my first G.I. Joe when I was only a few years old. And I've been deep into it ever since. It's always been something really cool to me. My dad got me into G.I. Joe because he saw it, thought it was neat, and when he was a kid, he had G.I. Joe, and he had Adventure Team and stuff like that. And it was just something new and cool that he thought I would like, and I did. I loved it, and it's been an important part of my life ever since. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post new videos. Check the links in the description for this video. You have a link to purchase Action Media Reviews, merchandise, t-shirts, apparel, and whatnot. And you have links to Facebook groups that you can join in some wonderful communities and connect with other G.I. Joe collectors like us. Yo, Joe.